Arobo ako, the motion I'll never forget. The motion I'll never forget, Arobo ako.
As different as communication styles are, there are things that remain universal. So, for instance, the bob of the head, this means yes, we are in agreement. The side to side head shake indicates negative, no, we are not in agreement. Now, how about the side to side head shake with the addition of the wagging of the finger, just like this? What does this mean to you? While you figure that out, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, in the next 5 minutes, let me tell you what that motion means to me. A bit of background history to my story. In Nigeria, just like a lot of places, Christmas is a huge celebration. We cook, we decorate, and oh, let me tell you, kids must wear new clothes. In my time, it was the Cinderella type dresses for the girls and a pair of tiny sandals, just like the one Dorothy had on in The Wizard of Oz, if you can remember that. Now, traditionally, kids will go around to people's houses they knew, and when you knock on the door of the person, you scream, Darcy! Darcy is a Christmas greeting in my tribe. And when a child said this to you as an adult, you had to pull out a coin or a note to bless the child. Very similar to trick or treating here. I was 6 years old. It was Christmas Eve. I could smell it. I could almost touch it. It was beautiful everywhere. And my mom was in the kitchen. The smell of baking and grilling filled the air. My two older siblings went every year on this Christmas adventure, but I was considered too young. So I was left behind to daydream of when I could partake in this beautiful adventure. But this year, I was determined to make it different. So I went in and told my mom about my plan to go out with my older siblings. She looked at me sternly, did the side to side head bob, and wagged her fingers in my face. How I translated this to mean yes beats my imagination to this day. I said to my sister, Hey, Ola, mom says I can come. Really? She squealed. Off we went, but not before handing me a purse to put my proceeds. Emulating her, I swung my purse on like this, and we skipped away happily like little lambs, running off before mom could find us. Darcy! We screamed at Mrs. Denier's back door, the smell of chicken stew filling the air. She came out happily with fresh, minty 1 naira notes for us. Oh my goodness! I was gonna be a millionaire by the end of the day. Is this what I had been missing? Thanking her happily, we left Mrs. Denier's house. I was in heaven, Christmas heaven. We skipped off again, my loot safely tucked away in my small purse. Arriving at the Morgans and screaming at the top of our tiny lungs, Darcy! Mr. Morgan came out, knowingly, smiling, and after complimenting our clothes and asking about our parents, he handed us another shiny piece of 1 naira note each. May this day never end, I prayed. I was excited. Now, at this point, we're about a block and a half from home, but a house away from the Orikes. Now, stories had it that the Orikes had purchased two ferocious dogs some months prior. They were called Midnight and Becky. I heard my siblings and my aunt talk about them and whoever they had run after. I just thought it was funny and maybe a bit terrifying. My sister, being the smartest and the oldest, was sure that they will be expecting kids, and so the dogs will be locked up somewhere in the back. She smartly told us to go in from the front. Clever thinking, I thought. Knowing that we were visiting the home of Midnight and Becky got me really worried. but I had to be brave. I picked my 1 naira note over my fears. Otherwise, how was I to meet up with the goal of becoming a millionaire by evening? Darcy! We screamed again in unison, waiting for the door to swing open. It was my brother I saw first. He took off like an arrow being released from a bow. What was wrong? I turned to ask my sister, but she had disappeared. What? No. And that was when I saw Midnight and Becky running at me from the corner of the house. Oh no. I followed suit without being told. I ran as fast as my tiny legs could carry me. I was running, I was screaming, I was checking to make sure the dogs weren't catching up with me. But at this point, I was praying as well. And I said, Dear God, please, please, if you get me out of this, I will never disobey anyone again. I promise. But I also prayed, Dear God, please don't forget the 1 naira I would have gotten if only these dogs didn't mess things up for me. At this point, the house was in sight. My siblings were already home. And as I angled in, there was my mom. Uh-oh. My siblings had already fed her the details. I didn't wait to see her reaction. I was too scared. I collapsed in her arms. I was crying from fear, from relief that I was still alive. While she looked furious, she was happy the dog scared some sense into me. Phew, what a Christmas, I thought. That night, I lay in bed. I'm thinking to myself, my wad of 2 naira safely tucked away underneath my pillow, still in my purse. I could buy a castle made out of chocolate, I was thinking. I was richer than I'd ever been in my life. But while I was thinking, I doubted seriously that I would ever ignore this motion again as long as I lived. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.